Hello, welcome back to a brand new video. If you're new here, it's nice to meet you. I'm Lynxi and I've made the twins now for over a year and I have about 1,000 hours played as them. And yes, that is a picture of me wearing a hat with Victor on it. Today is going to be a bit of a different kind of video as I've been getting lots of messages about the newest update that DBD has revealed coming in the future. If you didn't hear, I'll quickly summarise it. Pretty much DBD is making anti-slugging base kit. So after 45 seconds, survivors can recover from the dying state or even faster if running Unbreakable or Boon Exponential. With this, a lot of people are saying this is the end of the twins and the twins are going to be completely useless and dead after this change comes out. I wanted to share my thoughts on this, my general experience maining this killer, and why I think the twins are not dead. Okay, so for starters, this change will affect other killers as well as their twins, such as Oni and Plague and EO, two if you're doing that condemned slug build. However, I do think it's a bit of a misconception that twins' only main strength is slugging. It's actually snowballing, aka putting constant pressure on the survivors where they can't keep up. This is why when Circle of Healing first came out, it was very hard to keep up as twins, as survivors could heal insanely fast no matter how well I played. Back to the base Unbreakable though. It's 45 seconds, which is actually quite a long time. If I'm versus a team with Unbreakable, I can easily counter it by checking the left icons, and if I see somebody gets up, I simply switch back and slug them again with Victor. Even when survivors have Exponential, I can do this as well. There's 3 matches where Exponentials ruined the game for me as twins, and those were all situations where I didn't know that it was that boon, and I couldn't reach it due to it being on the second or first floor. If you're an experienced twins, you need to find a balance between slugging and hooking anyway. This is because of Unbreakables and healing perks and items. In some of my matches, I don't even notice Unbreakables as they're very easy for me to deal with if I'm already ahead. I wanted to actually show you guys some examples though. This is footage from my stream on Friday with my typical playstyle. You'll notice it's quite rare for my slugs to be on the floor for longer than 45 seconds. And if they are, I'm usually close by. However, the majority of my slugs do last for 20 to 25 seconds while I move Victor elsewhere. Obviously be a problem if people are using the updated Unbreakable. So if this update was to release for twins as they currently are, I'd have to change my playstyle to take less distance with Victor or potentially run knockout to slow the recovery time. I still think calling twins dead is a stretch though, as you shouldn't be slugging for more than 45 seconds regularly, unless you're very far behind or you're going for a 4-man slug. And if you manage that, you'll automatically win the game. So if you're in a position to do so, you can take the risk of going for all 4 slugs in those 45 seconds. Which has for sure happened to me many times, but I do usually go for hooks due to Unbreakables and running Scorch Hook perks. Hopefully you can see with these clips how long twins usually slug for. You do need to keep in mind as well, when this update does come out, you'll be aware that people have a base Unbreakable, so you might not go for as riskiest plays as I currently do now. But it honestly does seem to average out at about 20 seconds. There are some situations where I take a little bit longer, but it's very rare it gets to 45 seconds. That's usually when survivors are harassing me, or I'm going for very risky or greedy plays, or I simply do a mistake and I take longer because of that mistake. The biggest issue with twins at the moment is that it takes 8 seconds to switch back to Charlotte. The biggest issue with this change that would stop me being able to counter it is Soul Guard, as if I simply go to slug the survivor again, they can get a free kick on Victor. However, I don't know if this would ever become the meta, as I doubt many killers will be slugging after this update. Plus, with the twins rework due to come soon, they could give them some crazy buffs, like making Victor immune to endurance for example. Before I get too much into twins changes that could be coming, let's say this update does come out with how twins currently are. They won't be dead, but it'll be a lot more challenging for newer twins players who are relying on slugging to win back their matches. Also be really tough if you're going versus a Sabo squad or just a full team running anti-slug perks. However, just from my experience, it shouldn't be too much of a difference as long as you're not too greedy and not more than 2 survivors are running Unbreakable. So about twins rework, if you're confused about twins rework, this was actually confirmed to be coming from a Q&A back in January.
Are you looking at doing some quality of life changes for the twins anytime soon?
The twins. Another twins question.
Should I do the banner?
I think you have a banner. Yeah, I think you have a disclaimer to help me. Okay, there we go. Not in the next update. You have been warned. Okay. The twins come up in discussion regularly, and they are likely to be the next killer to see love after the Ghostface and Legion updates that we were talking about previously. This is not coming anytime soon. Look at the banner. Look at the banner. Not coming anytime soon. Please don't like freak out that it's not in the next patch or anything. The twins changes are going to take a lot of time. There's a lot to do with the twins, specifically due to the nature of the killer, to clean up a lot of the friction points that people are experiencing, to take into account a lot of the feedback we're getting. It's going to take time. It's tricky. Will be done. Not anytime soon.
All right then.
So you can see they mentioned this likely happening after Legion and Ghostface. And you may have noticed there was actually a Twins tome this year, which is theorized to be a way for them to get more accurate stats to help balance and change the Twins in the future. The biggest reason though for me as to why I really believe the Twins are being changed in this update is because it was meant to include this Mori and Unbreakable changes. It would be insane for them to release those changes without addressing the Twins at all. If you didn't see in the notes stated at the bottom, it will not be in the 6.3 update. So that leaves the question, what will be in that update? We'll have to wait and see, but I truly believe Twins will be a part of this. So what exactly would I like to see changed on the Twins? Well, let's get into that now. Due to anti-slugging being base kit and slugging being the biggest complaint about the Twins, I really hope the developers go crazy with them and do fun and exciting buffs. I am worried about them completely changing their power and not just making them a better version of themselves, but we will have to wait and see. The most important and biggest change I would love to see is the switching time addressed, as it is ridiculous to have to wait 8 seconds to just be able to go back to Charlotte and then start walking to your slug. Victor's down is 5 seconds and Charlotte's switch is 3 seconds. I would really love an option to instantly switch back to Charlotte once you're down with Victor. You could even give her a mini speed boost like they have on DVD Mobile. They could also revert Victor's down cooldown to 3 seconds like it used to be, instead of the slow 5 seconds we have now. This was mainly changed to counter slugging, but now that won't be a complaint anymore. I would also like a faster switching time in general, maybe 1 second faster, and possibly very fast when you attach with Victor like they also have in DVD Mobile. Twins also need a complete overhaul on add-ons, as the mass majority are very useless or too situational. I would love to see Toy Sword become base kit, as it's not an OP add-on on them, it's more of an add-on that just feels good and makes small objects a lot easier to get hits around. Instead of removing it and having to relearn most people's muscle memory like they did with Deathslinger, instead of being forced to take one add-on Toy Sword all the time with something else, making it base kit will make it so you can actually have 2 different add-ons. Another thing I would like to see being added is being able to kill Victor when he is left idle somewhere, as 90 seconds is way too long to wait for him to die automatically. I would also like to be able to smack him like a zombie if he's in my way. I have mentioned before that killing Victor under the hook would be a nice change. It is pretty boring, and if they give Twins enough buffs, I'd be happy to see that removed. It's not really that strong, and it isn't intended anyway, hence why you can't switch under the hook for that reason. Also, please, if a survivor is being sacrificed on the hook, let me switch. I can't camp a survivor that's already dead. Thank you, behavior. One of my crazy ideas I've actually had in the past, which could actually happen now with this base kit Unbreakable, is an ability to let Charlotte and Victor switch places. Say you down somebody on the other side of RPD with Victor, you could press that and boom, you're there with Charlotte now, and Victor is where you were. I think something like this would need a bit of tweaking, as it could be a bit powerful, but it would open up so many possibilities for plays. It would also really help with not losing your slug just from being too far away with Charlotte. They could also buff Twins by making Victor count as an M1 attack, so things like Knockout and Starstruck would work on him. I can't see that happening, but with them doing such a big hit on Twins by nerfing slugging, the possibilities are there. To conclude though, I think with Twins' current state they will struggle versus buffed anti-slugging perks, and versus survivors who are circling around slugs under pallets, making it not possible for you to pick up, though that is an issue that other killers will have too. However, the base 45 seconds for getting up is very long, and in most cases you shouldn't be taking that long to pick up your slugs anyway, unless you're going for a 4-man slug or something aggressive. My biggest concern is Unbreakable being 20-ish seconds, as that is incredibly fast, and paired with Soul Guard it will prove really challenging as Twins, as you're just too slow to pick up in time, because the switching times are ridiculous currently. We will have to wait until Tuesday to see if any Twins changes will be revealed. Even if they're not, things could be tweaked by the time that update is planned to come out. I do think people jump to conclusions too fast. Twins will still be amazing at tracking and pressing multiple areas of the map at once. I trust behavior will buff Twins and finally make them not frustrating for the majority of the player base to play. This is just my opinion and thoughts, so let me know in the comments down below what you think this update could mean for the twins. What kind of changes would you like to see on them? If you did enjoy this video, remember to subscribe, and as always, happy pouncing!
Hopeless illusion.